A guy in a bar bets the bartender $50 that he can lick his eyeball. The bartender agrees. The man takes his glass eye out and bites it. Bartender angrily gives the man his money. The man bets the bartender $500 that he can bite his other eyeball too. The bartender agrees to the bet because the man was not blind. The man pulls out his dentures and lightly chomps them on his other eyeball. The bartender is fuming but gives the man his money. The man then orders a beer and walks away. The man walks back and bets the bartender $1,000 that he can piss directly into a shot glass while running with 2 attempts. The bartender knows for a fact that this is impossible and agrees to the bet. On attempt 1, the man gets piss everywhere and none in the shot glass. The bartender smirks with high hopes. On attempt 2, the man once again pisses everywhere in the bar except for the glass. The bartender jumps up and down in excitement, knowing that he has won. Then another man in the corner of the bar screams, "Fuck!" When the bartender asks what the problem is, the man says, "That asshole just bet me $10,000 that he could piss all over the bar, and that you would be happy." A Polish immigrant went to the DMV to apply for a driver's license. First, of course, he had to take an eyesight test. The optician showed him a card with the letters ZZWIXNOTACZ. The optician asked, "Can you read this?" "Read it." The Polish guy replied, "I know that guy." An Englishman, a Scottish man, and an Irishman all walk into a pub with their wives. They all sit down and order a cup of tea. The Englishman looks to his wife and says, "Could you pass the honey, honey?" The Scottish man thinks to himself how clever that was, then turns to his wife and says, "Could you pass the sugar, sugar?" The Irishman, not wanting to be outwitted by the other two men, looks over at his wife and says, "Could you pass me the milk, you f***ing cow?" The man playing on a new golf course got confused as to what hole he was on. He saw a lady playing ahead of him, so he walked up to her and asked if she knew what hole he was playing. She replied, "I'm on the 7th hole, you're a hole behind me, so you must be on the 6th hole." He thanked her and went back to his golf. On the back 9, the same thing happened, and he approached the lady again with the same request. She said, "I'm on the 14th, you're a hole behind me, so you must be on the 13th. Once again, he thanked her. He finished his round, went into the clubhouse, and saw the lady sitting at the end of the bar. He went up to her and said, "Let me buy you a drink to show my appreciation for your help." He started a conversation, asked her what kind of work she did. You said she was in sales, and he said he was in sales also. He asked what she sold. She replied, "If I told you, you would only laugh." "No, I wouldn't." She said, "I sell tampons." With that, he fell on the floor laughing so hard. She said, "See, I knew you would laugh. That's not what I'm laughing at." He replied, "I'm a toilet paper salesman, so I'm still one hole behind you." A 6th grade science teacher, Mrs. Parks, asked her class which human body part increases to 10 times its size when stimulated. No one answered until little Mary stood up and said, "You should not be asking 6th graders a question like that. I'm going to tell my parents, and they will go and tell the principal, who will then fire you." Mrs. Parks ignored her and asked the question again, which body part increases to 10 times its size when stimulated. Little Mary's mouth fell open. Then she said to those around her, "Boy, she gonna get in big trouble." The teacher continued to ignore her and said to the class, "Anybody?" Finally, Billy stood up, looked around nervously, and said, "The body part that increases 10 times its size when stimulated is the pupil of the eye." Mrs. Parks said, "Very good, Billy." Then turned to Mary and continued, "As for you, young lady, I have 3 things to say. 1, you have a dirty mind. 2, you didn't read your homework. And 3, one day you're going to be very, very disappointed." Man walks into the pharmacy with his 8-year-old son. They happen to walk by the condom display, and the boy asks, "What are these, Dad?" To which the man matter-of-factly replies, "Those are called condoms, son. Men use them to have safe sex." "Oh, I see," replied the boy pensively. "Yes, I've heard of that in health class at school." He looks over the display and picks up a package of 3 and asks, "Why are there 3 in this package?" That replies, "Those are for high school boys, 1 for Friday, 1 for Saturday, and 1 for Sunday." "Cool," says the boy. He notices a 6-pack and asks, "Then who are these for?" "Those are for college, man," the dad answers. 2 for Friday, 2 for Saturday, and 2 for Sunday." "Wow," exclaimed the boy. "Then who uses these?" He asks, picking up a 12-pack with a sign and tear in his eye. The dad replies, "Those are for married men, son. 1 for January, 1 for February, 1 for March." A man is walking the Las Vegas Strip and runs into the most beautiful woman he has ever met. He starts talking to her, and to his luck, he finds out she is a prostitute, so he asks her, "How much for a hand job?" "5,000, she replies. "5,000? You must be nuts. No way." "Walk with me," she replies. He agrees, and they walk for a moment to end up in front of a restaurant. "You see this restaurant? I own this restaurant because men pay me 5,000 for hand jobs." He ponders for a moment. Damn, they must be pretty good then. All right, he brings her back to his hotel room, gets a hand job, and as advertised, it is the best hand job he has ever had. After he finishes, he realizes how perfect she is and asks, "Okay, that was awesome. How much for a blowjob?" 15,000, she replies. 15,000. "You're out of your mind. No way," shouts come to the window. They walk to a window, and she begins to point. "You see those 3 casinos? I own those casinos because men pay me 15,000 for blowjobs. Fine, how can I say no?" Once again, it is the best blowjob of his life. He is writhing in ecstasy after finishing and practically in love with this woman. "Okay, I'm going to regret this. How much for the pussy?" Come to the window. He follows her to the window, ready for anything. "Do you see all of Las Vegas?" she asks. "No way. You own all of Las Vegas?" he exclaims, astounded. "No." She looks down. "But I would if I had a pussy." A freshly minted U.S. Army lieutenant is assigned to a base in Afghanistan. He walks around the base and sees everything is regulation, except there's a camel tied to a tree on the edge of the camp. The lieutenant asks one of the men who has been there a while why there's a camel. The soldier explains sometimes they get lonely since there were no woman there, so they have the camel. The lieutenant is appalled, but being new, he just lets it go. After a few weeks, he was feeling very lonely, so he takes the camel into his tent. It takes quite a bit of effort, but finally he walks out, bruised and battered, but satisfied. "Wow," he says to the men, "that camel sure put up a fight. How do you guys do it?" One of the men responded, "Well, usually we just use the camel to ride into town." The Mother Superior is visiting the local parish all-girls school. The kids are all lined up to greet her. She goes up to little Cindy. "So, Cindy, what do you want to be when you grow up?" Cindy says, "I want to be a doctor." Mother Superior replies, "That's a very noble profession. You'll do well." She goes to little Nancy and asks the same question. Nancy says, "I want to be a lawyer, Mother Superior." The Mother Superior says, "That's also a very noble profession. You'll do well." She then goes to little Susie, asking her the same question. Susie replies, "Mother Superior, I want to be a prostitute." Shocked Mother Superior faints. When she comes to, she says, "Susie, what did you say you want to do when you grow up?" Susie says, "I said I want to be a prostitute." "Oh, thank God." Mother Superior says, visibly relieved, "I thought you said you want to be a Protestant."